Hello, and here we are again, parked up at the side of the road in a lay-by, and we're watching the world go by. Now, believe it or not, with the sunshine outside, it is actually December. It's the 6th of December 2016. You wouldn't believe it was December, would you? It started off today, the weather started off quite murky, misty, foggy, dark, overcast, inclement, call it what you like. Of course, you expect that sort of weather on the run up to Christmas. Now, of course, being Christmas, I've got a few issues with Christmas. Not least the amount of pressure. The amount of pressure that people have this time of year. You know, financial pressure. You've got pressure from your family. Everybody, you know, I mean, I've had the same thing. You have members of your family, what are you doing? What, you know, you having family round, are you doing this? Are you coming here? Are you going there? What are you doing? And if you're married, anyone that's married or has got a partner or a life partner or whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. It hasn't got to be a husband or wife. You could be a bloke and you could have a husband, or you could be a wife and have a wife. It doesn't really matter, because the problem is still the same. And it's a case of, well, where are we going Christmas Day? Well, should we go to my mum's? Well, no, because we went to your mum's last Christmas Day. We should go to my mum's this Christmas Day, because we always go to your mum's Christmas. And that's the problem. You see, you get, and like I say, it doesn't matter if you're in a same-sex relationship or not. The problem is still the same. You don't want to be seen to be favouring one person's family over another, and that's another problem you get, and it can lead to real rows. I mean, I'm quite lucky in that respect. You know, it's not such a big deal. You know, what I'm saying is my family's sort of pretty relaxed, really. As long as we all see each other at some point over Christmas, it's not that big a deal. It's not worth having a row about. But you know, a lot of people, they don't have that luxury. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna have a slurp of my lovely coffee, my Nescafe extra smooth 3-in-1. Now, Nescafe don't pay me to say those nice things about their product, but I do enjoy Nescafe coffee. Anyhow, then of course there's the financial pressure of Christmas. You know, because you've got your kids and they want the Xbox One, and they want this Minecraft pack, and or they want the Call of Duties or the PS4, or they, you know, the latest toy out. That, I suppose my children are older now, but when they was younger, you've got to have this toy. This is the must-have toy, and people are out there years ago fighting over Teletubbies. Oh, you know, is this the last Dipsy in the shop? It's the last Dipsy in the country, mate. Do you know what I mean? And people actually have physical fights over it, you know, and it's the must-have toy. The media put this pressure on. This is the toy you must have. If you don't buy this for your children, you're a failure. Do you know what I mean? And that's just simply not true. What's happened is, what my issue is, and you know, being a religious person myself, I believe in God and everything. That's not a secret at all. You know, the Christian faith, God-fearing man and everything. Now, the point of Christmas is Jesus' birthday. That's when the baby Jesus was born. You know, Mary and Joseph, they trekked all the way back to Bethlehem, because it was all about taxes and stuff, wasn't it? Which is always, had to fill in a form, basically. And what's interesting is, you know, sort of 2,000 or so years later, nothing's changed, has it? People still have to pay taxes. People still have to fill in forms. Nothing has changed, has it? But anyway, so, you know, and then they trekked around and they was looking for a hotel, basically, or a B&B, or a travel lodge, or a Premier Inn, or whatever. And of course, everywhere's booked, 'cause it's Christmas, you see? It's Christmas, everywhere's booked. I don't think it was because it was Christmas. I mean, officially then, Christmas hadn't actually been invented, had it? Because the baby Jesus hadn't been born. You know. But, you know, the point was everywhere was full because everyone had to trek back to Bethlehem to fill in the form and pay the tax and everything else. So everywhere was full, everyone was busy. Mary and Joseph, they ended up in the little stable there with the cows and the cattle and all that, and that's where the baby Jesus was born. So, and that's when the whole Christmas thing started, you know. And then eventually the 3 wise men turned up. They'd followed that star, and I think baby Jesus was about 2 then. He was toddler Jesus by now, you know, probably terrorising Mary and Joseph like toddlers do. And excuse me. And that's how Christmas started. It's all about Jesus, Christianity, Jesus Christ's birthday, basically. But in this day and age, in this cynical age that we live in, it's not about the baby Jesus, is it? It's not about religion or anything else, or Mary and Joseph and their little donkey and all the way to Bethlehem and blah blah blah. It's not about that anymore. It's not about that anymore. It's all about, you've got to have the latest pair of trainers, or the must-have toy, or the latest games console, or the mountain bike with the most gears. And the trouble is, kids are, you know, parents are not teaching their children all about Christmas and Christian values. It is about family. It is about spending time together. And it's not, and I know it's a cliche, it's saying, oh, it's not what you give but to receive, and all, but that's true. That's true. It's not, it sounds like a cliche, and maybe it is, but it's all about family. That's what it should be, you know. And the trouble is, I mean, when I was a kid, because I come from a religious family, and that's not a secret, we used to sing you know, Christmas carols and stuff, and you know, and all the rest of it, and it was nice. And it was all about remembering Mary and Joseph trekking across the desert into Bethlehem, and then, you know, running around trying to, and it was good. It was interesting to learn about, and we learned it every year, and we talked about it. And you know, I mean, that's going now. A lot of people are not so religious, but they want the religious benefits, don't they? Do you see what I mean? They want the whole religious benefits. Oh well, yeah, well, no, I'm Church of England, mate, innit? And the Church of England, let's be fair, and this is not intended to be disrespectful, but was invented by Henry VIII so that he could divorce, I don't know, whichever wife it was. That's why the Church of England was invented. Do you know what I mean? It's like people, I was talking to someone a while ago who said, oh, I'm going to have to start going to church now. I said, oh, why's that? Oh, because we want to get married in church. So we've got to go for a few months beforehand so the vicar gets to see us and know who we are. Now, these people have got no intention of going into church once they're married. They're just going there because that's the thing to do. Do you know what I mean? You think, well, you're taking the piss now. You're just making a joke of it. What's the point of getting married in a church if you don't go to that church? Do you know what I mean? And it's wrong. It is. Another slurp of coffee coming up. And it's all wrong. You know, people say, oh, you know, I was talking to someone the other day who asked if my children had been baptised or christened or anything, and I said no. And they said, but you believe in God and stuff, shouldn't you have? Well, yeah, you could. I mean, the point is, because now I believe in God, okay, so this is the way I see it now. You know, if my children are not baptised, when they die, right, and they go to heaven, if God says, well, you haven't been baptised, mate, sorry, you can't come in, I don't think he's going to say that. He's going to say, well, never mind, you're here now. Do you know what I mean? At least you're here, you know. If there's nothing, if I'm completely wide of the mark and there's no afterlife at all, then it doesn't matter, does it? Either way, it doesn't really matter whether you've been christened or baptised or whatever your particular faith might be. You know, I don't think it's the sorry, I'm fiddling. I don't think it's a great big deal. Do you know what I mean? I was talking to somebody a while ago who's gay, right? And he was saying, now he's got, if he's watching this vlog, he'll know who it is. And he was saying he's got this family member who's a Catholic. Now I don't really, Catholics are just another branch of Christianity, aren't they? But and this person who's a Catholic was saying, oh, you'll go to hell for choosing to be gay. You can't. Oh crikey, being gay is the worst thing you can do. That is. And it turns out, believe it or not, because I've looked into this after I read this person's blog and this highly offensive thing that had been said to him, and I looked into it, and it turns out that being gay isn't the absolute worst thing you can do at all if you believe in God. The worst thing you can do if you believe in God, right, we're assuming that you do, right, is not accepting God. Not accepting God. Right, and I looked into this, is said to be is the worst crime you can commit, basically, in God's eyes. Yeah. So you can be gay. If he can, the thing is, oh yeah, God forgives, and he'll forgive murderers and stuff, but he won't forgive gays or lesbians. Now just let that sink in there for a minute. Oh, you're a paedophile, but God will forgive you. You find God, he'll forgive you. But if you're gay, you got no hope, mate. Now just think about that. There's zero forgiveness for gays and lesbians. But paedophiles, which is just about the worst thing that somebody could do to another person, they'll be alright, you can be forgiven for that. And that's why it doesn't add up, does it? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? And I think I've strayed from my original point somewhat. But what I'm saying is we shouldn't be teaching the worst things about religion. We should be, encouraging people to look at the best things. Look at the best things that religion has. Yes, you can include Christmas in that, but you can't have Christmas if you don't say happy birthday to baby Jesus at the same time. And remember just what it is you're actually doing. Because if you're there just going, oh yeah, well it's Christmas, innit, and I've got my Xbox One now, and I've got my PS4 and my mountain bike with 28 gears and stuff. But it's just a day where we give each other stuff, innit? And it's not. You have to remember that it is about baby Jesus. It is about Christianity, and being with your family and stuff, love and all that. Do you know what I mean? So, and just remember as well that there are people that struggle at Christmas. Christmas is meant to be it is a highly stressful time, but it's meant to be like suicide threat tripled, isn't it? DEFCON 3 for suicides. And I can see why, a lot of people struggle at Christmas, and if they haven't got family, there's a lot of people out there that are going to be on their own at Christmas, and that's not very nice. Some people are tosspots, and people don't want to be around them. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're going to be an Arian, then that's your fault, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of people that will be on their own. There's a lot of people that won't have anything at Christmas. A lot of people won't see anybody over Christmas, and they're the ones that we should be remembering and sort of empathising with a bit. Do you know what I mean? But it's not all about your presents and your gifts. It's all right having them, but you've got to remember that there's people there. There's people out there that are not going to have anything on Christmas Day. I heard a story. I was on a bus, driving a bus years ago, in a part of town here, and I could overhear people talking, and they were saying that part of their Christmas present when they were kids, they wasn't talking to me, I could just overhear it from where I was, and part of their Christmas present apparently was a school uniform. Imagine that. Part of your Christmas present is this new school trousers, and you think, no, you're having a laugh, but I genuinely heard that conversation on a bus. The woman went, yeah, she said that's the way it was for me too. She said, yeah, shirts and grey skirt, because that was the only way people can afford it. Do you know what I mean? But I've rambled on quite long enough, I think. I'm gonna leave it there. just remember, 25th of December, Christmas Day, you've got to say happy birthday to the baby Jesus, or adult Jesus as he is now. Or if you can't be doing with all that, just say happy birthday Jesus, because the message is still the same, isn't it? You're not differentiating between his stages of development. No, baby, toddler, or, you know, hello, happy Christmas teenage Jesus, you could say, but that'd be daft, wouldn't it? You could just say, you know, happy birthday Jesus, you know, and that'd be quite enough, I would say. I wouldn't imagine to keep babbling on. But there it is. That's the way I see it. And look after yourselves. Bye bye for now.